Small dog or big dog, it doesn't really matter when it comes to countersurfing or even coffee table jumping. It's not safe, nor good manners. In today's video, we're going to address what to do about this unwanted behavior. Michelle here, your puppy expert and fear-free certified trainer. Welcome to my channel, where my team and I dole out awesome puppy training content. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss a video. Go ahead, hit that button so you don't miss when the next video launches. So, you want to work on countersurfing, huh? Well, this is definitely one of those instinctual doggy behaviors that does not really fit into our human world. What I mean is, dogs are naturally curious, so all heights and surfaces are fair game until pup has been taught differently. So it's up to the humans in the home to figure out how to teach your dog what to do instead. So let's go over that today. Now, I want to make sure you're thinking about this from the right mindset. Jumping is a dog's natural behavior. Countersurfing is a scavenging behavior, which also comes naturally to dogs. Now, we don't really like this behavior in our kitchens, but there are some easy things we can do to make this work for both dogs and humans. Now, your first step is to prevent it from happening. So every time your dog does it, even if she gets a tiny morsel of last night's dinner or even a towel off the counter, this is rewarding to her, and she's going to continue to do it. But I don't want you to just stop it at the moment. I want you to prevent it from even starting or continuing. Now, I suggest using some baby gates or a puppy pen to keep your pup out of the kitchen. You can also begin to teach some good manners at mealtime, including teaching your pup where you want her to be when you're eating. We do cover those skills in our online puppy training program, so with games to teach like go to your bed or other skills like stay. And if you want to get an overview of how that works, you can find it here. Now, that video covers good habits like a dog who sits quietly while you eat and also doesn't bark or jump for his or her own food. And even when you're not cooking, it's probably a good idea to block off access to that kitchen. Now, you might think you got everything off the counters, but your pup has a much better nose than you realize, and even better than your eyesight. So even that little morsel of something yummy is gonna mean she's getting reinforced for the behavior. And the task of training her, well, that's gonna become harder. Now, if you have a puppy who's not yet countersurfing, we definitely recommend blocking off that kitchen to prevent it from even starting. It's gonna be a lot easier to train your puppy who doesn't have the habit already established. It's definitely possible to train a dog who already has this habit. It's just going to take a little bit more time and some extra consistent work on your part. Now, you might not want to live forever with baby gates in your kitchen. So at some point, you're probably going to want to offer your dog some more freedom. And down the road, you're going to make some decisions about allowing your dog in the kitchen. Dogs can learn rules of the home, but it's better if they're consistent and very clear. So if you have a particular area that is going to be off limits, start with it off limits from day one and make the threshold very clear. Some dogs can even learn not to cross a piece of tape on the floor if they've been prevented from developing the habit and trained and rewarded properly. So you might make some decisions about where you want your dog when you're cooking. Now, my teammate Allison, she decided that Lincoln was okay to be in the kitchen. He's too small to be a countersurfer in the kitchen, but he certainly could jump on the coffee table. But she didn't want him underfoot or scoping out items on side tables, especially if she was carrying something hot. Or maybe if she dropped something hazardous on the floor, like food that's not safe for dogs. So she actually taught Lincoln to sit on a mat when they're in the kitchen together, and then lay on a bed in rooms with shorter tables. Now, it took some practice to get him to stay when something exciting, like cooking, is happening, but by slowly turning up that training dial and adding in cooking as the very last step, Lincoln actually learned that his spot was on the mat. Now, Lincoln also knows that he can't grab food off the floor without the release word, so that's another level of protection to keep him safe. Good boy, Lincoln. So, you've prevented countersurfing from happening, and you're gonna train your dog where you want him to be, but what if he accidentally gets to the counters? What do you do in the moment you catch her? Well, I know it's human nature to say, no, bad dog, but remember that your dog is simply doing what her brain tells her to do. Seek out tasty food, and telling your dog they're bad doesn't actually teach them what they're supposed to do instead. So I want you to remain calm and redirect your attention to something outside the kitchen. Now, you might need to scatter some treats in another area or get out a frozen Kong to offer her and her pen. Now, you don't necessarily want to just give her a cue to do something because it could lead to a sequence of jump on counters, then do a sit or a down the human asked for, then get a treat. We want to prevent that from happening, but also give her a reward when she's doing something else entirely, like going to her pen or laying swinging out of bed. Now the other piece of the puzzle is recognizing her need to forage. It's a natural dog behavior, as you might have seen from dogs that just wander around sniffing and looking for stuff on the floor, and even the sidewalks while out on a walk. Instead of telling your pup that she can't forage, give her an opportunity to do it in a way that works for you. So here are a few of my favorite foraging activities. Number 1, a busy box. Now this is a box or a bin with a bunch of items in it. Sprinkle kibble or treats, and your pup's gonna have to move the items out of the way to get to the good stuff. This is great brain work and problem solving. Number 2, Find It games. Now this is a game where you hide treats in a room and your pup goes to find them all. This is an excellent enrichment game that dogs really love. And it's a great energy expender for days when going on decompression walks isn't even possible. Number 3, the puppy onion. Have you heard of the puppy onion activity? Nope, we're not talking about real onions, which are actually toxic to dogs. We are talking about wrapping up treats or food in layers so your pup has to dig through them to get to the good stuff. This is a human-friendly way of letting a dog dig in the trash can. So, you see how we did that? Replaced it in natural behavior with one that fits into our world? Alright, number 4, scent work. Scent work is a great way to bond with your dog. So you start with a specific scent and you train your dog to go find it and alert you. Then you mark and reward and repeat. Pickles hasn't done scent work for a long time, and we tried it a few months ago, and he remembered it perfectly. Now, there are other things you can do to promote this healthy behavior of foraging. A great way to introduce new rooms is through a find it or foraging activity like this. It allows her to investigate a new room, but she's focused on a task, so she's less likely to have an accident or destroy something. And since you're doing an activity with her, she's supervised. The nice thing about foraging enrichment activities is that it's easy to change them up and make them different for the next time. You could change the treat, you could change the items in the busy box, you could change the layers of the puppy onion, or just change the location. No need to buy a ton of puzzle toys from the stores. Just change a few things about the foraging game you made at home. And you've got so many options for cheap. Speaking of cost savings, we recently went to the dollar store and got a bunch of fun supplies to turn into enrichment games. We challenged the team and I to create fun and safe activities from cheap items. You can check out the video here for some great ideas. So just remember, countersurfing can be super frustrating for humans, but to dogs, it's just natural scavenging behavior. The counters usually have tasty treats or fun things to play with, according to your dog. So it's rewarding as well as being instinctual. Now, the more your puppy does the behavior, the stronger the habit's going to become. So we suggest you take the steps right away to address and prevent it. You know what we don't do to stop countersurfing? We don't use scary sound aversion techniques to spook our dogs when they jump on counters. We don't use tools that cause pain when our dogs jump on those counters. Aversive techniques such as those do not teach your puppy what to do instead. And as a matter of fact, the fallout of using these techniques could actually cause more problems in your dog training down the road, such as a dog that fears you or even kids who were present when the scary thing happened, and shut down from your dog who no longer wants to participate in activities with you. Stress in dogs can lead to aggressive behaviors as well. Often people say things like, his aggressive behavior came out of nowhere. It was all of a sudden. This is not the case, but could have stemmed from fear, stress, and anxiety caused by aversive techniques to try to stop behaviors or to train the dog. Now, if you do need a few more positive techniques to stop countersurfing or puppy-proofing hacks for how people managed open concept rooms in their home, check out this video. Stopping countersurfing will involve teaching your puppy what you want them to do instead, and managing the environment outside of training sessions so the puppy doesn't accidentally get rewarded for the behavior that you're trying to stop and change. Now, one final thing to remember is that you're teaching your pup to live in your world. Now, that means that you'll need to understand canine behavior and also learn how to teach your dog what you like. If that's not something that's familiar to you, you should check out the new Better Puppy Behavior Workshop. It's completely free, and you can register for a time that works for you. I'll put the link in the description below this video. You're going to learn all sorts of great info about how puppies think and learn and how to train them. You'll also get the best details on preventing unwanted behaviors. Alright, this is Michele Lennon, your favorite online puppy trainer. And from all of us here on the How to Train a Dream Dog team, we wish you a blessed day.